All right. Thanks, Jennifer, so much, and thanks for this great ACE program. You could see the Cloud World. That's our booth, or that's our customer suite, I guess. If you want to come there, if you're at Cloud World next year. I'm going to talk about building agents. Gartner called the biggest trend in 2025 agentic AI. I'm going to show you how to build one today in Oracle. I want to thank all the ACEs that have been here today. I think we've had what I consider a great lineup. Here's some from Viscosity, but the ones we saw, I thought Raja did a great job of just kind of introducing vector search and things like that. I thought Janice went into it deeper, showed some of the indexes. Joel talked about agents, but also talked a lot about analytics and how these two work together, and AI is the big part. And then Gilson talking about how you can even move vector embeddings to different places in the system. But I'm going to talk about something I think is very important, and it's WIN. How are you going to win later? And the answer is you have to know what's important now. You're going to go in forward in time, figure out what you want at your company, what you want to build, and then come back today and say, what's important right now? I'm going to show you some of the reasons why, the economic potential. I'm going to show you some of the disruptions that are going to stop you from getting that done. I'm going to show you some of the algorithms, and Janice talked about this, was put in 25 years ago in Oracle. I'm going to show you how to leverage some of those LLMs and agents, and an agent in specifically how to leverage some of those algorithms and LLMs using agents. And then a little bit on the future. 25% of a firm's capital, though, is digital capital. This is McKinsey. Are you leveraging it so your company gets 25% more? The problem is it can be copied perfectly and infinitely. And that's why Oracle security is great. But some of the disruptions that are happening right now, I think they're moving very fast. Postal mail went to email, telegraph went to telephone, encyclopedia went to Wikipedia, filing cabinet went to a database. Then it started going a little faster. Sorry about that. Started going a little bit faster. Email went to text, Snapchat. Send me a picture, and if you don't know what they're talking about, they don't care. Wikipedia went to a robot, Alexa Siri. These are just robots. DBA now is being assisted by autonomous database. Somebody showed this on Reddit, where technology went from this to this in 200 years, and from Roman times, well, we already had a horse and carriage for 1,500 years. Well, I looked at it deeper, and I found out it was only 100 years. 1880s to about 1981. How fast is that moving? But the horse and carriage was there all the way back in Mesopotamia 5,000 years ago, roughly. So the last 100 years, there's an exponential acceleration. If it feels like you're going faster, it's because you are. So what is innovation? Well, from a telegraph to a telephone, there's just leaders are using the emerging technology. They're using AI. They're building the future. What does Oracle do? Oracle has cloud, data, security, machine learning, AI. They're giving you the tools to be innovative. I mean, look at Larry's quote. I like leaders, people who do things before they become fashionable or popular. He's saying, I like innovators. I like Da Vinci. Why was Da Vinci successful? Because he was an apprentice at his shop that had all kinds of pieces of different tools and things like that where he could build the future and be innovative. Oracle, 25 years ago, bought a company and they started doing algorithms. Now, you could use algorithms now. You want to make your company great. Do you know your good and bad customers? Well, you can do classification. You could do words. You could do images. You could do numbers. Then you could find the attributes of different customers. You could cluster big data into groupings. Maybe certain age groups buy your stuff. Association, maybe what do we buy together? Or you could start putting these together. Give me the good customers. Find the attributes that make them good. Cluster data and find new customers. What are we building? We're starting to build agents and building a foundation model. All these pieces are part of your system. Now, what did Oracle do when the vector database came out? Well, a lot of people built a brand new vector database. Oracle said, well, you know what? Use vector embeddings. There's a lot of LLMs out there we don't need anymore, but things like NVIDIA train their models on Oracle. Things like Metalama is trained on Oracle. They have a partnership. XAI also does. They said we're going to encode that object, but then when you want to search the database, your information that you want secure, do that with retrieval augmented generation so that information is not shared back with the LLM. Very important for security. And then we're going to give you an answer. And you can see the version of Oracle that it's in. What did Oracle do with that database? So they said, hey, we're just going to put it with the JSON database, object database, everything we have now in the database. We're going to add vector database, no charge if you own the Oracle database. So retrieval augmented generation, you ask a question, it vectorizes it. We saw this in many talks today. And then I can access vectorized documents and then give that answer back to you in English or Spanish or some other language, even if I want, or ask additional questions. The vectors, as we saw in several talks, also are very large. They're multi-dimensions. So if I did cats and vectorize that, that'd be in one area. Dogs would be in a different area down here. How about maybe I could put animals in one dimension and I could put food in another dimension. And then I can go ahead and I can say, I want to see a cat pushing an apple around, and it'd be between the two dimensions. If I said I want a cat wearing a hat, maybe another dimension is clothing. When I want the cat jumping, maybe another dimension is jumping. On Tuesday, I want a cat jumping wearing a hat. Well, that's another dimension. So pretty soon we get into hundreds and thousands of dimensions. Oracle put it this way. This was in Juan Loaiza's talk. He said, if I have a vector, type of roof, decoration, numbers, I can have an app to look for that house and find things that are similar or not similar. We saw in Genesis, there's all kinds of ways to have that distance. Wow, what happened there? Going a little too fast. All kinds of ways to see that distance. But I can also do one other thing. So I could put that image in as a blob, and then I can also vectorize it and have that vector as an additional column. Then I can look for other things that are relational, like price and city as well. And then I can say, it's the first 5 houses that look like that. Then if I update that house or delete it out of the database, it also affects that app where now that, that house was sold or the price changed. You can also use many of these other things out there. OpenAI, Cohere, Hugging Face, LangChain to put pieces together. I want to show you what a few people showed you initially, which is how to build this embedding. I want to build that multi-dimensional embedding, and I do it with 2 models, TinyBERT models, the Google model, and then the LLM L6. Janice showed the L12. You should use the L12. It's more recent, but the example I have here is with the L6, a smaller sentence transformer model. First thing you have to do is create a credential. I created here. You see the name and a username and password, a few other notes there. I have to grant the user different access to things. And these are some of the grants you'll need. And I create a directory as staging, a stage directory. And then I say, use that object store. I'm going to put this into the staging directory. It's going to get vector embeddings from the internet to our database. I can use these models. So first of all, I'm moving it to the staging directory. And here's an example of quickly how to easily move something there. I'm moving the TinyBERT model. Then I'm moving the LM model, the other sentence transformer model. Now, careful, you can get these on Hugging Face, but some models, ones you don't know or are not sure about, they are known by some security places as having malicious models. So be careful. Then I take a look, what do I have in staging? And I can see the things I have there in staging. Now I go and I need to load it from staging into the database as a model. So now I'm doing a load ONNX model. ONNX stands for Open Neural Network Exchange. You can see the TinyBERT models being loaded. Then I load the other one. And I could see the 2 models are in user mining models. Now, if I built a classification model or an anomaly detection model, those would also be in user mining models. The only reason I don't have them, and I built a lot of them, is this: I built a separate autonomous database for it. But I have TinyBert, I have the other one, and one's 17 meg, one's 86 meg. If I look at just the word hello, you can see it's putting it to an incredible amount of dimensions that are out there. And then if I use the larger model, the one that's 90 meg, you can see how it's so many more dimensions, hundreds of dimensions. So now when I want to look for a cat jumping off a table, being chased by a dog, wearing a hat with a black background and food in the refrigerator or on the table, dinner setting where people are looking back, I can do that because it's going to not find a needle in a haystack, but as NVIDIA says, you want to find a grain of sand in the universe. I can also load other things into staging. I'm going to load the release notes in because I'm going to use those later for my agent. So now we're going to get to the main thing, building an agent. I go to Analytics AI in the cloud, and notice I'm in Ashburn and I have generative AI, but I don't have anything about agents. So I have to go to certain areas to get it. And I'm going to look at Coherent and Meta are built-in models. They're already in OCI where your information is not shared with any other tenancy. And you can see the regions that it's shared in. And here's the Coherent model. Here's some more Meta models that are there. Here's 70 billion parameters. So these are very large models. There's one with 450 billion parameters. Choose the one you want. I'm going to go and I'm going to do a live labs. And here's a live labs that I highly recommend if you want to do more with agents. And to me, this is the brass ring for AI. You've built things with algorithms. You've built things with large language models. Now you want to build an agent to piece in there that people can use. And notice this one goes to one of the regions I can go to, which is US Midwest. And if you do this live lab, you have to remember this information. And then I do a data set download, and it gives you this information on how to run this live lab, and I'm going to extract some data. And what it does is it does things like have embedding models or fine tune the models or concepts about using this. Now, I also put in some of Oracle's documentation and a few other documents that I had just so I can access that as well. So now what do I need to do? Put those objects somewhere physically on the cloud. So I put it into a bucket. So here I built a bucket, and you can see ends with RJN. Then I say upload. And I can drag those documents. You could see where choose files from your computer. There's other ways to move it, but I could just drag them here and then say upload it, and it starts to load those documents. So now I have all those documents. I'm going to use that as my knowledge base. We'll see how to do that. So next I'm going to go to Analytics and AI. Now I'm in the Midwest region. Notice I have generative AI, but I also have agents. And I have a lot of choices here. I can chat with it. That's what I'm going to show you. I could do generate things. I could summarize different documents, or I could build embeddings for different models. So very quickly, I can do things without writing all the code you saw in some of the earlier ones. If you just want to use the Oracle Cloud. So here we're looking at the generative AI agents. And we're going to go with clicking on that. And it's going to tell us exactly how to build your first agent. I'm just going to scroll down, create a knowledge base, create an agent, and then test your agent. So first of all, I'm creating that knowledge base. What are the documents I'm using? So these are all the documents, and this is the name of this knowledge base, I'm calling it, but I have to specify where I'm getting that data from. And I specify a data source. I need to click this automatically start ingesting this. And what did I put? I put in that data bucket where I've dropped all those files that I had extracted from that zip file and a few others that had to do with documents that I had. Then it's going to ask, what do you want out of this bucket? And I could specify specific files, or I can click here and select everything in the bucket. Now, if there's multiple pages of files, and I click this box a little bit underneath, I'll only get what's on that page. So keep that in mind. So selecting all is there. So then it starts creating the knowledge base. And you can see it's brown, then it goes to green. It's created my knowledge base. Now I have a place that I've stored all these documents, and there's settings I can do as well. But now I want to create an agent. And it gives me some of the things I need to do in the live lab. I'm going to call it Rich 007. Hey, can I help you? I'm Rich 007. Then I'm going to give it a knowledge base. And you can see the name there that I have just built where all those documents are. Next, it says, hey, we have a built-in Llama 3 model. You have to agree to this license. And of course, I read it fully, not just like the Declaration of Independence. Let's see, the agent must be ready. So now I'm creating it. I get a work request, and now it's active. Notice I can launch a chat now. Now this one, I didn't get every document I wanted, so I created another one called Rich 007. Notice the launch chat, even though it's green, sometimes that button's not lit until it's lit, it's not ready. You can see I built 3 here. Now I'm going to go into that, and I'm going to actually click the launch chat, which has finally come up. It says, can you access the release notes for 23i? And hey, the agent is saying, yes, we can do that. So how long did it take me? Just a few minutes. I've dragged some documents, I've created an agent, and somebody can already chat with these documents and ask questions. Also give citations. You're worried about hallucinations, going to some LLMs out there. This one, I'm looking at my own data, specific data I've had. I can go to my own database, and it will cite exactly where that information came from. Here's an example. I'm saying, I'm looking at these release notes. What are the bugs that are fixed? Shows me the exact bugs that are fixed. Then I can click on the citation. I asked something about my own book. Hey, what about $BH? That's the buffer header table, holds all the buffer headers of the buffer cache. It did not know that because I did not put that information in yet in my knowledge base. Can you give me the restrictions? It gives me the ONNX restriction. You have to have an ONNX model from Open Neural Network Exchange and certain sizes for the vector memory size and so on. A few of the documents they gave was on fine-tuning the model. So I asked the question, how do I fine-tune that? And you can see it gives me step-by-step how to fine-tune that model. So now any document that you want to learn from, I mean, you could use this for users to help them as they ask you questions. I also asked what's 2 plus 2, and it knew it was 4. Interesting enough, it went to a document and said, came from a part where it says I have 516 tokens and the maximum is 512, and that's how you had the last 4. That's how they found out 2 plus 2. I don't know. You can also talk in Spanish. You can talk like a pirate. And I also loaded the 19C new features guide, the entire PDF. So I asked about it. What are some of the new features that are out there? And it gives me those, gives me the citation. Then I asked about 23 AI new features, and it started telling me the top features. JSON relational duality, where I can have something in JSON or I could have it in relational. And whether I create it in JSON or relational, it gets to the same place because the document is built with relational and there's a JSON view on top of it, and I can use either command to go to it. And I thought, wow, that's great. That is the best feature. And it told me true cache. True cache, I mean, at Cloud World, the New York Stock Exchange and PayPal, so this is one of the best features they have where I'm going to put cache like I have in the buffer cache. I'm going to put it at the middle tier level where blocks remain consistent in every way. And then it talked about the database firewall. I thought this is one of the best security things it has. And it talked about vector search, which we've talked about. And then I looked at the citation and I go, oh, this is my own blog. I didn't even know I included that with the documents. So I had not even known that I put this document in there, and it's finding me an answer. And I thought these were the best things. Well, it's because I wrote it. And I asked about Oracle ACEs, and it explains what that is because that was also in the document. But you could do more than just build an agent. You can also do more than look at data. You can look at images as well. And this shows a few, but here's a few live labs. If you want to look at these QR codes, The one that I'm doing at first was the PL SQL and using RAG. The next one was unlock your enterprise, build your first Gen AI RAG agent, which is really amazing session. Next, I'm going to show you, oh, not sure what happened there. And it seems to be stuck, of course. There's some notes. You can see Live Labs here. Jen actually gave that. I'm just going to move over to here for a second. I'm not sure what happened, but
And let me just interject because I've had a couple questions about are the sessions recorded? And yes, they are all being recorded and they'll be shared. And any of the speakers that share the slides with us will also share those too. So just so you know.
okay. And just as you said that, I got to the next slide. So the next one, I just wanted to show that they also have things built into Oracle OCI, digital assistant, speech to text, text to speech, language, different languages, vision, document understand, look for anomalies. So Oracle can do this automatically, but you could also build it with just your own notebooks as well. I used Vision, and I found with Vision, I took some images in the medical world to see if somebody had pneumonia or not. And I started with just 10 images of normal or you have pneumonia, and it was doing about 40% guessing right on the future ones. Then I used about 100. I was up to 83% and 88%. And then I got to thousands and you can get over 100%. So it's really quite amazing. But what are you trying to build? I showed you all the algorithms, trying to look at every business inside your company, pick the algorithms that you need to piece together, start building agents for people to use. And that becomes the foundation model for your own thing. And this is what Oracle and Larry has done with Cerner and built healthcare and built that foundation model for healthcare. It's really quite amazing. And why do you know Oracle products are going to be great? Because Larry is using them. You know, he talked about at Cloud World, where our whole focus is on autonomous database and our whole focus is on Apex as those two tools to use. Vodafone talked about everything they do is autonomous first. Agents are also in Fusion applications. You can see some of the ones that are out there, over 50 agents, over 100 generative uh, AI features, and you can see you can go to a benefits advisor. Maybe you're the benefits advisor. Well, now you can go to the agent that Oracle has built for you, click on benefits advisor and ask questions. Hey, I'm the benefits advisor. Assume you're the best benefit advisor in the world. How can you answer this question? And I could put any documents back in that knowledge base. Then, just a few days ago, Oracle in London announced that AI Agent Studio is available for Oracle Fusion apps on the cloud, and you can build your own agents. Then I went to my Rich 007 agent, and I thought, let me just ask, what happened at Larry's Cloud World talk? And when I asked and looked at the citation, I clicked on show, and it showed me the actual document because it's out there. It was a different name than what I had. And it talked about things like multi-cloud in this summary, which I talked about in the document. Then I said, tell me in pirate language a summary of my whole blog. And it's like, arg, this is Rich Niemiec's blog, a treasure map of the world of database wonders. The legendary Larry Ellison revealed future applications will be built on autonomous database and Apex. I think that's a key thing. Larry, with his keen eye for the horizon, steered the ship toward treasure-laden islands of AI. Rich, being the savvy navigator, shared tales of economic booty gained from plundering data with the power of AI. I guess that's what we're doing here. We're plundering data with the power of AI. So set sail with Oracle and earn your fortune. I mean, that's a pretty good summary of what I said. In the future, leverage technology and agents, put them inside of robots. These are the things you're going to place inside robots to have them do a task. These are the things you're going to put in virtual, mixed, augmented reality. This is one I was showing a retail at Cloud World and how they have apps, Give that to your best customers once you find them. To look on the shelf, see what people are buying. Are shelves empty? And do I have that in the warehouse? All kinds of things I can use and leverage agents with. But the key with AI is security. You could look at what Larry talked about in addition to the things on the medical side was all the biometrics they're adding into AI. So I have biometrics, but Safra also sat down with the CIO of the CIA. I'd never seen the CIA speak anywhere, but they spoke with Oracle saying Oracle is a key partner. Oracle also, in addition to biometrics, they added something called Zero Trust Protocol inside of the networking side of the Oracle cloud. So Zero Trust Protocol as well. And then I talked about how Gartner said top strategic tech trend is agentic AI. You could see autonomous agents were coming. This was as of September 2024, but in 2025, it became number one coming. Generative AI was not even down. It's called the Gartner hype cycle. Everything going up. It's getting popular. They're talking about it goes down. People are kind of sick of hearing about it. Then it hits right around the right side, 5%. And then at the top of the rest of this goes up to 30%. But Gen AI is not even at 5% yet. Autonomous agents, not even up the hype cycle yet, and you already know how to build one. I've shown you how in this session. Things are moving faster. I showed you how in the last 100 years, how much things had changed that had not changed in 4,900 years. 2 to the 16th, why is it changing? Because 2 to the 16th, we went to 32-bit. 2 to the 32 was 4 gig, and we got the internet. It was like going 65,000 times faster than we were going prior. Now we've jumped to 64, and you're going basically 18 with 18 zeros. 300 trillion miles per hour faster than we were going.
Hey, Rich, I just wanted to give you a time check. We're 2 minutes over if you want to. I'm not sure how many more
And
slides you have.
and that's good because it's on final thoughts. This used to look very, very you thought it was going to happen for 1,000 years, but now it looks more like this. Think of this guy if he was a barber, it'd be Edward Scissorhands. But we're moving from using to wearing to implanting digital. That's hive mind, and Neuralink may be what causes that. But we looked at, would you like your company to be worth more? Well, you can make it 25% more if you leverage your data. But you kind of wade through all the disruption and start building using those algorithms to make an impact with your company, but also building agents with the new AI. But the key is these are the things that are important now that you have to do. Things may come to those who wait, but only the things left by those who hustle. So you got to hustle. Oracle, with its great database and security, doing billions of transactions, you could see they're already leading and training all the major LLMs that are out there. And things could change in the future. That's why I had that. I'll do a longer version of this on Orapub later this month. But make sure you either nominate yourself or someone you know for the ACE program. And I gave a QR code here. And I want to thank everybody for coming. I don't know if you had any questions.